Okay, Vinta, thanks for your question. Well, for me, a number of things are in play. You've got the central banks with the ECB and Fed this week, and then there's not much of a play in that, I don't think. My take on it is that the Fed, it was a hawkish outcome, really. They paused, but um, they will be data dependent. So, um, looking forward, next week you've got Powell, you've got the JOLTS data, and if we start to buck that trend in the JOLTS data, in that it's jobless claims and so on have been rising over the last few weeks. If we see some cooling in that, that would be we would likely to see a strong reaction in favour of the US dollar in that respect. That's the police coming to pick me up. Um, Now, with regards to the ECB, again, that seemed pretty hawkish. So I'm not sure there's too much of a play in the ECB and Fed at this point, but there would be if the data starts to significantly improve in the US um, in that regard. With respect to other central banks, I mean, they're also turning pretty hawkish. You've got the Bank of England next week, so keep an eye on the central banks, and in comparison to the Fed, um, the dollar will lose its correctiveness if the data starts to or stays in line with what's been going on of late. Um, in that it's been pretty soft, which has been encouraging for risk appetite in markets, and the euro tends to benefit when risk appetite is positive, with prospects of the Fed pausing on their rate hiking cycle. So that would be favorable. Now, when we come down to the mechanics of how the market uh, is operating in the euro, um, you've got to ask yourself, where is the money? Where are people long? Where are they short? Where are their positions? Where are the volumes? And if you look at the charts, you'll note that we'll have in the money longs still up until this point. Um, I mean, they would have been squeezed, put under heat, and you'll probably start to see some bailing out of the longs at this point. We've come up into the neckline of that M formation. This These tend to act as resistance, so that's why I've drawn those arrows there. Um, that one's obsolete. So just bear with me. So this is an area of higher volumes, and I've just drawn a volume profile on that range from the top to the bottom that we're measuring, where the price is coming up into. So we've come up, as you can see those higher volumes of both offers and bids, um, and that is essentially offering resistance. So we can expect we've already got the correction. How much more we don't know. Um, Now let's look at that. So if we come down onto let's measure that weekly impulse, bullish impulse. Not with that. No, not with that. With this, and what we're seeing is we've got a 38.2 all the way down here. If let's pull the daily chart up, Okay, so let's measure the daily impulse from the bottom to the top. And we're going to make the we can see the 38.2 of the daily aligning pretty much with the trend line support. So that would be a reasonable area to expect the price to move into. So if we pull that volume void into there as well, so that's a nice target area. The 50% mean reversion for a test of the trend line support perhaps, and then we can gauge it from there when we start to see signs of deceleration of the correction and then prospects of a move up through this resistance and then targeting the shorts that were getting involved at the top of these highs. This is like a sort of triple top area, expands all the way over to here. So we're bound to see um, stops above there for a target, and we're likely to see stops above here as well. So 110.20s guarding a move up. So that's where we are from a technical standpoint. Now, the bullish bias. So let's just go to a cleaner chart. Get one. Um, so we'll stay on the daily chart. So we're in corrective territory, and that could lead to, as I said, a move up eventually. Um, Now, that thesis would flip if the US data and Fed speakers prove to be decisively hawkish and fanning the flames, therefore, of higher rates to come for longer. And then we'll be looking for bearish structures to start forming to start a selling program into all of this length, with the targets then being on the downside 107.50 ish, 106.70.